Alright, this is New Mutants 56, and I didn't normally do two issues like this back to back, but I really enjoyed reading New Mutants 55, and I also needed to clarify some things. I didn't want my channel to become a series of me referring to people seeing my videos, but the artist in question, the one that I mentioned in my last video who saw my video, it was not the artist of the comic I was reviewing. That wasn't clear at all. For that I apologise. It was not Bill son of a bitch either. It was the artist for New Mutants issue 5 from 2009. You won't have heard of them. And for the record, Bill son of a bitch can see all my videos where I call him a useless poser, and I will not give a shit. I think he is an awful artist and a prick. And if I can ruin his day for even a second, that would make me happy. I actually quite like the artist from yesterday's issue. And this one has June Brigman art, which I really like too. Another thing I like, which I never got to point out yesterday, is that these characters finally actually feel like kids. Before Louise Simonson, they were miniature Christopher Clairvoyant thought machines with vocabularies and inner monologues that betrayed their alleged identity as teenagers. I didn't like all of Louise Simonson's run. I like a lot of it, but I cannot praise her enough for taking this title and making it much better. I didn't think there is a stronger testament to that than I was so eager to read the next issue that I would rather do that than a review of whatever token Superman comic it is this week to fill up the DC quarter. Something else I like is M-Plate. This is a despicable character, but I like these takes on him by talented writers like Louise Simonson, and Spike Milligan tried it years later too, where M-Plate is almost redeemable. They make you forget that he is a scumbag, or they make you think that he is capable of change or being a better person. Magma, she has a troubling relationship with M-Plate. She is helplessly in love with him, seemingly of her own free will, but there is also the subtext or the implication that maybe she is possibly being made to feel that way by him. I prefer the reading that she just likes him, otherwise it makes these plots read very differently, and I think it really robs Magma of what constitutes as a main story arc. I am going to simplify this plot down a bit. We have the New Mutants, and then we have Emma Frosty's students. And now which one I'd want to be. These are them here. And the problem with these characters has always been, other than M-Plate, they are the wettest blankets around. And one of their powers is fucking tarot cards. Sadly, both the second Thunderpath and Firestart, they couldn't last on this team because they were goody birds. And it is likely my Emma Frosty's infatuation, but I never saw why this team had to be so blandly foils for the New Muties and now else. Well, I guess Christopher Clairvoyant is to blame again. He couldn't be bothered to imbue any of them with personalities or even motivations because they weren't any of his Mary Sues. But thinking too much on this team is a waste of time. They didn't get much mileage outside of this series. And I didn't care because here is Emma Frosty's. And I love the way June Brigman draws her. Am I misremembering? Or did she do the Firestart series too? She might be the first artist to draw Emma Frosty's as being beautiful. Didn't get us wrong. Other than Bill Son of a Bitch, Emma Frosty's has always been a winner. But artists usually drew her as evil rather than being a ruddy bloody goddess. The two teams are both gunning after the same thing, a weird bird creature man thing, and there is some manipulations at play, but eventually the bird creature, it is saved by the New Muties, and they adopt them in a rip-off of the popular movie Mac and Me. With the two teams converging, we will obviously get a chance to do stuff with Magma and her attraction to M-Plate, and likewise M-Plate's affection for her. You might have noticed, but we have had 2 issues of New Muties in a row, and neither of them have been about writing up Mary Sue Moonchild. In fact, in this one, she is shown to not be perfect. I do respect Louise Simonson and her attempts to give these guys some characterization. Some things are just a lost cause. Thunderpath is still there at this point. It took me until this page to realise. They subsequently replace him on this squad with a guy called Beef, who is designed just to be a stand-in for Thunderpath. And here is tarot cards. You should know by now, my rule is, if any comic features tarot cards, it is immediately a bad comic. Our excellent men, well, the New Muties, they are wearing their garish new costumes, designed by artist Adams, so what did you expect? I have likely upset someone who thinks these are the best costumes ever, and all I can say is that they are definitely not the best costumes ever. I agree with one thing about them, and that is that these characters, they needed individual looks. They have been gunning around in excellent men uniforms for most their history. And after a while, they need their own identities rather than matching outfits. These ones plain suck. Ones like Magmars are generic past the point of reason. And then ones like Cannonballs, they basically disguise the character so you would never have seen them and gone, that is Cannonballs. And do I even need to point out the problems with Cyber's costume? And it looking just a little bit, a tiny little bit, like another more popular character's design. So, our two teams, they cross paths and start fighting. And today's big question, I famously ask these in every video. Today's big question is, who or what is your favourite? Actually, why bother? Nobody answers my big questions that I famously do in every video. I was making fun of a very specific YouTuber who does the same thing. He says he has today's big question that he does in every video, when he actually doesn't do it in every video. Magma's art is not really in it because she is in love with Emplate, and she is conflicted because she knows that he is a cretin who uses his powers indiscriminately to get whatever he wants and to take advantage of all the girls. But in this case, he uses his powers against his own team to make them surrender to the new muties. This makes Magmar think that she has misjudged Emplate, but this was his plan all along. He wanted this opportunity to prove himself to her. And so the new muties take their new pet Birdman home with them as Magmar announces she is leaving the team and transferring to Emma Frosties' school because of her feelings for Emplate. I think with this issue there is a lot going on, and it doesn't quite take off because there are some bad elements in the mix. The bad guys are mostly duds. The costumes that the new muties are wearing are trash, and they are tarot cards. However, there is also a lot of things to appreciate. Louise Simonson, even with undesirable elements, she gives it the yard college try, and she really has turned the book around in my eyes. It is a team book finally, and she is trying to flesh out and expand on stuff that Christopher Clairvoyant ignored or let sit in a corner. She is focusing on characters other than Mary Sue Moonchild and Magic Girl, and that is great. And the artwork by June Brigman is up to scratch. The tarot cards, though, lower this issue's rating to a 7 thumbs up.